Welcome to Sexy Sunday, where we analyze sex scenes from films and TV shows, discuss what they tell us about the story, the characters, and more importantly, whether they're hot or not. I'm Jessica.
I'm Anishka.
And this is Sexy Sunday.
Today we're going to be talking about Sexify. Sexify is a Polish TV show that came out on Netflix in 2021. It's been created by... please bear with me on these ones. Kalina Alabrodzinska, Małgorzata Biedronska, and Piotr Domalewski. I've definitely said this all super wrong. I'm so sorry.
You tried.
I tried my best. It follows Natalia, a tech student who wants to create an app to help girls have orgasms. However, Natalia is an inexperienced virgin, so she gets her best friend Paulina involved. Paulina is a super religious science student. She spends most of her time having boring dinners with her controlling family, mediocre sex with her fiancé, and going to church to confess the mediocre sex. They also get help from Monika, their dorm neighbor, who has sex with no less than 4 different people in the first episode, which we are very grateful for. Thank you, Monika, for all this content for Sexy Sunday. And she doesn't care much about school or the app or anything really, but she needs to graduate if she wants her dad to continue paying for her lavish lifestyle. So that's pretty much the premise of the show. Season 1 has 8 episodes and I counted 19 sex scenes.
Ooh.
Which I don't know about you, but I thought it would be more.
I thought it would be more too, but I guess because you probably did the same thing you did in Sex Education when there's long montages. That was just one sex scene.
Yes, I did do that, but the first episode has literally so much sex in it, and then as it goes on and on, it gradually slows down.
That's very true.
Yeah, I think the last 3 episodes barely have any sex in it at all.
I guess you're fooled into thinking that because of all the
yeah, so for anyone who's not watched the show, this wasn't just having a stroke. This is the music that is literally being played, like the score that is literally being played about every 2-3 minutes in each episode.
I feel like the sound designer was like, there's a moment of silence, we need music.
Yeah, and it's the thing, like I actually find the editing, like the visual and the sound editing, really interesting. It's not like anything else I've seen on TV. Like so there's the music, and then which they really are not afraid to use.
I wish they were. Honestly, when I start noticing it, it's too much. But yeah,
but I do applaud the innovation. But I think the reason why the Easter episode is so good, on top of it being because the storylines are kind of coming to a climax and there's loads of cool stuff actually happening, the edit of that episode is unreal. Like it's really, really good. It's really clever. So they're showing, basically for context, all the characters are like doing Easter, most of them with their families. And they're all shown watching this film, which I've researched. The film is called Potop in Polish. It's a Polish film. It's called The Deluge in... which I don't know how to say deluge in English because that's the English title, but it's a French word, so I don't know how to say it in English.
It's technically a French word, so I think you can like...
say it in French.
I think saying it... Yeah, exactly. I think if anything, us saying it in an English accent... is bastardizing the French. So
I know, but I don't know. I always feel like such a dick when it's a French word, but I try to say it with an English accent so people who are English understand what word I'm saying. Like it's like if I'm in a cafe and I'm like, "Can I have a croissant?" Instead of saying croissant, I'm like, "Can I have a croissant?" And it's like, "Aren't you French? Why are you speaking like this?" And then I sound like not only an idiot and a dick. It's just terrible. Anyway,
you know, a croissant.
But yeah, that film is apparently often shown around Easter time, which makes sense since they're all watching it at Easter. But what's really interesting is the way they edit it is it gets really intertwined with the storyline of the show, where if there's like a massive reveal or something that upsets someone, then it gets cut with an image of the film of like a guy on a on a horse getting shot, and then it's like the next reveal, it's like he gets shot again, and it's just so well, I don't know if it's the most clever thing ever, but it is interesting.
It is, because I remember when I was watching the Easter episode, and I was like, oh, I forgot that they did this. And I think because of the Easter episode is chaotic, the chaos of the movie really helps to like
enhance
color.
Yeah,
exactly, enhance. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, it really does enhance what you're watching, and it really adds to like the drama of the episode.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Like, I actually really loved it.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll leave the Easter episode for now.
So should we start with Natalia? Because I mean, obviously she's the main one, but she's also the most uneventful one.
She should, like, I get why she's the main character, but also she shouldn't be the main character. Paulina should be the main character. We'll get to Paulina. What I missed on my first watch through, but that was because, like, Natalia, you don't really know her in the first episode. But at the beginning of the episode, like at the opening of the show, she's having a shower, and it's a really objectifying shot of her in the shower. And it was so weird to rewatch that and to see that scene, because I was like, it's kind of this juxtaposition of the whole show, where it's kind of trying to be the show about female orgasms and how we don't know much about women's orgasms and trying to like destigmatize them. But one, there are too many penises in the show. Like, there's so much focus on penis. But also there's like, it doesn't really do anything to destigmatize female orgasm. So that opening shot of kind of objectifying Natalia was actually like quite an interesting one, because I was like, that actually kind of summarizes the weird juxtaposition.
Duality, yeah. Did you ever think that the tutor might hit on her, or was it just like trying to create more drama?
I mean, it kind of part of it felt like it was going that way when he was like, oh, it needs to be more sexy, and then he's like the kind of cool hip teacher, like it. I don't think I ever felt like it. Like, I wanted it to go that way.
Oh no, me neither. I definitely didn't want it to go that way. I just felt like, was it going to? I'm glad.
Did you think it was?
No. Well, at first, yeah. In the first few episodes, I was like, is this where it's going? And then as soon as she meets Polish Timmy, as in, what's his name? Adam. But
oh yeah,
really,
we call
Polish Timothée Chalamet. So Timmy. Adam, who no one knows. As soon as she meets Polish Timmy, I was like, oh, okay, this is the love interest. It's not gonna be something with the tutor, which I was glad about.
Yeah, because that would have been a weird turn.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been good. The scene where she's, well, it's on Easter actually, where she's with her mom and she says like, Mom, look at me, my brain is all I've got. Like, I'm sorry, but this is such bullshit. Like, Natalia is super stuck up. She's really inexperienced, but she's very pretty. Like,
she's really pretty.
What are the standards of beauty in Poland is my question.
That is a very good point.
I mean, obviously, I'm incredibly disappointed in the lack of Polish Timmy and Natalia sex scenes. Like, we literally can't even, we've got no sex scene to analyze with Natalia at all.
I know, like that scene where, like, it's again the Easter episode, aka the best episode of the show, where they're kissing and you're like, finally it's happening, and then Natalia has to go and open her mouth and be like, do you want to have sex so that we can test out the app? And you're like, why you do this? Why?
Yeah, she's not very good at reading social cues. Like, she's not very good in social situations. But I have to say, there is a part of me, even though I'm really disappointed because I really wanted to have this sex scene, I am kind of relieved that they've not gone for the kind of obvious and the season ends with her losing her virginity to Timmy, using the app and having an orgasm on her first time ever.
Oh, that's so true.
And I'm glad they didn't go for that.
Yeah, I mean, she did almost have sex with that Erasmus guy,
She did.
but then, of course, Polish Timmy had to come and do a really grand romantic gesture and bring her a balloon.
I think I really like what they did with Polish Timmy as a character, where he works in a sex shop and is constantly like surrounded by sex all the time, but he's the perfect fit for Natalia, because you can tell that he's more experienced than her, but he's not a very sexual person either. Like, you can tell it's not something that matters to him in an immense way.
Yeah.
But he's
and
also very comfortable with it because of his work and everything. So it's the perfect mix for her.
Definitely. I think he is such a good character because he's like, yeah, very comfortable being around sex, but knows that his own sexuality is taking it slow and not like just jumping in with whoever. Which I really, it's very refreshing of a character, not just that he's very cute. And also when he speaks in English, when he speaks to the Erasmus guy, he sounds really hot. Sometimes I find when you like someone when they're speaking in their native language and then they go to speak English, it does not sound good. They do not sound good anymore.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Like me.
Lies. You sound great speaking English.
So I don't really have anything else about Natalia, I don't think, because she's quite, I mean, again, in terms of sex scenes, there's not much we can talk about.
No, not really. The end scene of Natalia and Adam, like, sorry, Polish to me. Who is Adam?
Hell is Adam?
Who is Adam? When she goes to the airport and it's like, does the romantic gesture. I see on your face you're like, no. And I'm just like,
I was just kind of like, okay, well, get downstairs now. They're literally on the phone to each other, looking at each other from a distance, and
that's very
not saying anything. At the end, there's a good 20 seconds where they're just looking at each other, smiling, and I was like, okay,
go kiss him.
Someone has to.
Don't make me reach through my screen and do it for you.
Me at 6 years old with Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic, I used to like kiss the hell out of my TV screen. I would watch the entire film, fucking Titanic as well. It's like over 2 hours long, and I would watch.
No, it's like 3 hours.
I would watch all 3 hours of it, like inches away from the TV, just ready to kiss the screen as soon as it would get on it. I mean, you know.
Oh,
I was 6. Great. This is totally normal. It's absolutely normal behavior.
So normal for a 6-year-old.
So Monica, let's move on to Monica. So first of all, the first scene where we see Monica, where she's having sex in her apartment, and her dad comes in, and he's just staring at them. No, but she doesn't know he's here. He doesn't say anything. Why doesn't he say anything? What the fuck is wrong with him? You come in and your daughter is getting like literally
pounded,
like literally,
like they're making so much noise.
And he's literally just like, I mean, I don't know, maybe he's in shock, but he doesn't look in shock. He just looks like, he's, like staring at them so that when she sees him, she's more embarrassed or something. But it's like, why do you want to watch this?
Yeah. Also, the whole dad's power trip with her ex is weird.
Oh my God. I'm glad that at the end, in the last episode, when he says, oh, but he really likes you, she's like, no, he really likes you. I'm glad she realizes that he's got this weird thing, like this weird obsession with her dad. I don't know if it's because it's like power or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And he looks so much like Matt Smith, who plays the doctor.
Do you think? Oh, that is such a good point. Wait, Matt Smith is like the guy from The Crown, right?
I've not seen The Crown, but
sure
it might be. He was Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'm sure it's him. That is such a good point. I think it's because he's got like a very bony face.
Yes.
I love how the first episode is basically just various people walking in on Monica having sex and either watching her or having a conversation with her. Like, no one respects that poor girl's sex life. Literally.
Wait, who has a conversation with her when she's...
So the first one is her dad, who obviously is just staring at her. And then at least it introduces us to her amazing robe. Like this
Oh, her
silk
robes
robe
are-
she's got. Honestly, I'm just watching this show for Polish Timmy and Monica's outfits, I think. And a bit for
Monica's
Paulina's
outfits are
evolution.
incredible.
Monica's outfits are great. But yeah, so that's the first one. And then Natalia walks in on her having sex because she thinks she's being too loud, but she literally just opens the door and doesn't say anything.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And then the woman from administration who's like doing all the like looking after the students who are renting, she walks in as well. I can't remember why, but she literally starts talking while Monica is having sex. That woman starts a conversation with her.
You're like, sure, carry on.
Sure, why not? Personally, I love Monica. She's my favorite.
Yes, yeah,
Like she clearly makes the app better. She probably doesn't have a very academic brain.
No, but she's
but
smart.
She's still
like,
very smart.
yeah, she's people smart
Exactly.
and like knows how to get shit done. I think the girls wouldn't be in the place that they were at the end if it wasn't for Monica.
No, definitely not. The scene where, so I don't really fancy Polish Matt at all, but the scene where Monica has sex with him at his work.
Oh yes. Do you think it's the
I'm really
setting though? Like the setting
Yeah,
that it's
probably.
because it's like it's in the workplace. You could get caught.
I absolutely love that he's in a meeting and he's like, just give me 2 minutes.
Also, you only need 2 minutes. What about her?
Well, clearly she seemed like she was fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. That scene was actually super. Like, there's a lot of sex scenes in Sexify, and Monica has pretty much half of them. I think that's the only scene that's really hot.
Yeah. I think like yeah, no, because most of the like the big sex scenes are kind of the montagey ones. There's no build up to it, which is what I quite like.
Exactly.
Because Monica likes a lot of casual sex. That a lot of her, like, she's just doing it for a release. Like, it for her, like, her sex is kind of to get it out of her system. To
I was going to say, I think she does it to
something.
distract herself.
Yeah. So there's not anything sexy about that. But also, do you think it's interesting that, like, I just had this thought that when you are in real life doing casual relationships, that is sexy. But when watching it on TV,
yeah,
so
because
much.
I think when it's yourself, it's one thing, but when it's other people, you kind of need an extra thing to get invested in it, because otherwise, you know, you don't really care about the characters unless they're really, really, really hot and really just want to see them naked.
That is true.
A question about Monica.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that her mother is like this she's like this sex guru kind of thing?
She's like Jean from Sex Education.
She's exactly like Jean from Sex Education. But more hippie.
Yes, definitely.
Do you think that influences Monica's attitude to sex? Because I always think it's very interesting because it influences, like, actually I was going to bring up Sex Education because Jean's lifestyle and attitude towards sex influences Otis's attitude towards sex in the sense that it completely blocks him, and he's like, I mean, there's other things going on with Otis and his dad, etc., but basically his mom pushing sex on him all the time makes him really uncomfortable around sex, whereas Monica's definitely not uncomfortable around sex at all. Do you think it's completely unrelated and doesn't actually have anything to do with her mom, or do you think the fact that her mom is so open and etc. made her really open about it?
I don't think that it's to do with her mum. I think it's her acting out. Having lots of sex is more acting out towards her dad, but maybe subconsciously she's taken a lot of the sex positivity from her mum to like bring that into her sexual escapades.
Yeah,
but
I think
I
right.
don't think it's like her.
I don't personally
intentionally
think it's related in that kind of way, but I still find it interesting that they went for the super sexually open mother has the super sexually open daughter, because I could totally see them going the opposite way.
Definitely. But I think,
you're right.
I
think it's more to do with her dad than her mom.
Definitely.
In a very, very creepy way. Yeah. One sex scene that I thought we could focus on, I mean, obviously, the sexiest sex scene of Monica is like the Polish Matt one. But
Yeah.
I thought maybe we should talk a little bit more about the last one
Yes.
because yeah, I know we have
I
things
have-
to say about it.
We have many thoughts. Mainly, oh my god. So it's like the climax of both the series and also the app,
Mm-hmm.
and how they prove that the app works is she puts in all this data and then they're like stare into each other's eyes for 2 minutes.
So it's
And
a
then-
random Tinder guy that she
Yes.
invites over to try the app with.
Yeah. And then they stare into each other's eyes for 2 minutes and then she has the best sex of her life. Please.
Yeah.
Just how? Like, I thought I'd have more words, but I think I'm just so speechless at how, like, this is the thing with this series, is it tries really hard to tell you that it's doing this thing for destigmatizing female orgasms, but what it's showing you is so basic. It's like you'd feel a deeper level of intimacy with that person, sure, but are they doing anything different with your body, or have you, Monica, explored your body to know what you want and what turns you on, what turns you off, so that you can work with your body, so when you meet someone you can be like, this is what I like, this is what I enjoy, don't do this because this doesn't work for me. Not stare into my eyes for 2 minutes and then we'll just have the most incredible sex that we've ever had.
Especially because they make such a point of the app being like focusing on physical things, and then the climax of it is that the app works because of a mental thing. I just don't really.
Yeah, but I think there's also the focus of like women have all these erogenous zones and the biggest one being the brain. But I think for me, because I need to be like emotionally and intellectually connected to a person, I guess, or just like have some sort of level there that's not just like I'm attracted to you, let's have sex. Like that's not how I have good sex. But like that level of intellectual stimulation needs to be like through conversation, through opening up, through like talking about who we are and like showing a level of emotional maturity. That's really like, that really turns me on if someone's very emotionally mature. But it's like there's no example of that through the app, through the show.
Yeah. Should we move on to Paulina?
Oh yes, please.
I'm so frustrated with Paulina because I do think she's got the best storyline overall. Like she's got the best arc, but her stories, like her scenes, really bore me. But that's not her fault. It's like it's just her boyfriend that bores me. But I found it really hard to watch.
And like the first scene where we see her and he's like, let's have sex, and immediately just like puts his penis inside her. I'm like, how, like, ow, 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 ow. Like, I get that it's meant to show this like disconnect between like how Paulina and sex and her boyfriend, but it was just like, and then he finishes and then that's it, and she's just,
they are not sexy sex scenes.
No, but she doesn't really know like herself well enough. And I think the thing with Paulina's like story arc is so good because it's like her having this sexual awakening and being like, actually maybe I'm attracted to women, but I have a male partner and like I don't know what to do with this. It's just I feel like there's so much, as you say, there's so much potential with exploring that, but I feel like they didn't really go far enough in certain ways because you had Natalia as the main character, so you couldn't really go far enough. So it was like you kind of left on this open-ended thing where she's taking a break from Marius, but she's still in the confusion. But it would have been nice to kind of see that being a little bit more resolved, like internally. I don't know what you think about that.
I know what you mean. I'm more okay with that because kind of in the same way as I'm fine with Natalia still being a virgin at the end of season 1 because that would have been a bit expected for her to lose her virginity. I think it also like sets something good for season 2, like something to look forward to.
True.
And I think, I mean, obviously they didn't know they were going to have a second season or not when they released it, so that was a bit of a risk they took. But I'm really excited to see Paulina's evolution now, because I don't think she knows who she is at all, so it'll be really fun. But at least now she knows who she isn't, which is, I mean, I sound like this comes from me. I'm literally quoting her in the show, so this isn't my own brain coming up with this. But I think it would have been a bit much if she figured that much out in 8 episodes. That might have been a little bit like unrealistic.
True.
I think it's good that they're taking it slow.
That is very, very true. You make a good point there.
When you were talking about the being attracted to women and stuff, do we think that she's bi, or is she gay, or do you think she's just like wanting to escape from the life that her parents and her fiance and her religion are like trying to make her live, and she knows that getting with girls is kind of like the one thing that would give all of those people a heart attack, basically? She's just going the extreme, because cheating with another guy wouldn't be good, but cheating with girls is definitely like a big no-no. Do you think she's genuinely attracted to those girls, or do you think it's like subconsciously because she knows how quote unquote wrong for her lifestyle and the culture she lives in it is?
Ooh, that's a good, because I'm not sure, because I think there's a part of her that is definitely miserable. Like when Marius proposed to her, you could like see that she wasn't.
God, by the way, public proposals should be fucking illegal.
Don't.
Like, this is the worst thing. I mean, I'm sure loads of people have great stories of them where they love it, but honestly, it's not worth the risk of the absolute embarrassment and entrapment. Like, it's horrible.
Marius just cannot do it for her. Like, even when she puts on that sexy maid outfit.
Oh my God.
I know you have things to say. You go.
Like, I'm sorry, but I mean, yeah, he's got a lot of responsibilities and everything, but on this one, I'm kind of blaming her, because he's got this really sexy like maid outfit, whether it's your thing or not, whatever, but ultimately she looks hot and she's in sexy lingerie, and she's trying to do something different for the sex life. And then she proceeds to lie down on the bed and have sex with him in the fucking same missionary position that they always do. It's like, what do you think was going to be different? Just because you're wearing a cute bra is not going to magically make the sex great in the same position as always, where you know what he does when you're in this position, where it's like he basically does his thing, doesn't really care whether it's good for you or not, and it finishes super quickly. Why did she, like, what was the point of putting that much effort into the role play if it's to then completely stop the role play and do exactly the same thing as always? It really pissed me off.
But I will say it does tell us about the characters.
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely. And that the characters piss me off. That's what it tells us.
But I think in defense of Paulina, I think she was expecting him to make the first move, because again, the problem with this show is it's like looking for something externally to give you an orgasm when you can really give yourself some really great orgasms. But anyway,
I do love when she's got, the scene where she's with the vibrator. I love her. She's fully like wooing herself with like the wine and the music and etc. before like getting it out. It's like she's fully on the full date.
Yeah, and then Marius comes home and he's so upset with her.
I know.
I like 0 out of 10 for Marius.
Oh yeah,
Glad
no one likes
Paulina
him.
dumped him.
I'm not going to lie, I've skipped so many of his scenes. Also, I love how when she's wearing a maid outfit and they have the same very boring sex as always, afterwards it's like, do you know you're crazy? It's like, oh yeah, missionary but in sexy underwear. Calm down. So, Easter. This is honestly, I feel like people need to watch this show just for this one episode.
Yes. It shows all the girls banding together and like having each other's backs. It has chaos.
It has so much chaos.
So much chaos.
But not unnecessary boring chaos. Like not drama for the sake of drama. Like really climactic chaos, is if that's a word.
Yeah. And then you also have like the climax of Polish Timmy and Natalia, and with like the family dynamics and Paulina really coming into her own. And it's
And Monica's amazing pink outfit, which is really also carrying the episode.
yes.
No, but it's so good. It's the only episode I think where all the three different girls' storylines are really good, because that's when Monica like comes up with the entire plan for the app, basically. So that's also really interesting.
Yeah. Paulina and the club. And then when she takes drugs with Lilith in the bathroom, and then Polish Timmy and Natalia are looking for her, and then she just comes in to the room, to the nightclub, and she's being carried, and she's topless, and she just looks like a queen. Like
she's basically like impersonating the Virgin Mary.
Yes.
She looks amazing.
She's in her element.
She is. That's the thing. She actually is. I think it's like, this is a perfect world. It's like religion meets freedom.
Yeah. And then when they grab her and she just goes full on kissing Lilith, and
it's so good.
You're just like, yes, get in there, Paulina.
She really like
she goes
brings
the
level up. Yeah, it's really good. So do you think she actually fancies Lilith?
I think there's a part of her that's like intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
I like, because obviously Lilith likes her, and so she's kind of like, oh, where could this lead? That's how I feel like she's approaching it. What do you think?
I don't know. I hope she is bi or gay, because I think she's got really good chemistry with women. But obviously the only man we've seen her with is Marius, and it's like they have no chemistry because they're not supposed to have chemistry. Like, it's not a really good base for me to know whether she's got chemistry with men or not. But she does have really good chemistry with women, so I'd like to see more of that. I'd like it if she was genuinely attracted to Lilith. I really like Lilith. I think I'd love to see them going somewhere in season 2. But I also do think that this really represents the freedom and escapism from her life that she needs. So I'm just worried. I don't think they're gonna make her like straight, because that would just be a bit disappointing, I think.
Yeah.
I hope she's bi and not gay, just because I wouldn't want, like, Marius wasn't very good, and he was clearly not good in bed, or at least not good for her. And I wouldn't want it to be a thing where it's like she thinks that, oh, it's actually because I'm not attracted to men. Like, it's like, no, it's because of Marius. Like,
yes.
It's nothing to do with you, really.
No.
So that's the only reason why I'd rather she's bi than gay, just because it doesn't let Marius off the hook as much, and then she can have really good experiences with guys and girls, and that would probably be quite interesting. But really, I'm open to anything as long as she kisses more women whilst high on drugs.
Yeah. Or when she kisses Monica's mum in the
car. That was almost, I mean, the Easter episode is just so good for so many reasons, but when she kisses Monica's mum, I don't know, it was like weirdly, it was almost better than when she kisses Lilith, because I was genuinely like, oh, we have lost Paulina now. This is great. She's literally gone over to the other side. Like, Lilith is one thing, Monica's mom is a completely different thing. I absolutely love that.
Oh, I think she's just like, at that point, she's just like, this is how I solve problems, right?
I think that's genuinely a solution to any problem.
Sorry.
No, go on.
I just remembered fucking Marius trying to when he's trying to make things better with Paulina, and then just like co-opts her to get
married.
Yes, I'm like, why would you think that would help? Why?
I actually do see why he thought that would help, to be honest. I think it's because we're seeing it from the point of view where we know exactly where Paulina's head is, and it's definitely not there, and we can see also that Marius is a bit of a dick. But actually, I can kind of see it, because I think Marius is very clueless or in denial. Either or. And probably both. And I think he genuinely has no idea what's going on with Paulina, and I think he thinks that the marriage thing is stressing her out because of her family trying to decide everything, etc. So I think like eloping like this would be a great way to get around, like her family wouldn't have any word to, like the problem is it's all his choice, but at least it wouldn't be like her parents' choice kind of thing. So I kind of almost see where he's coming from. And I think that was really good because that really made Paulina, that was like the breaking point where she was like, yeah, actually, let's not do this at all. And but I don't hold it against him completely because I kind of see almost where
I guess it was like his Hail Mary, and like I guess if you're from quite a conservative culture, there's this whole thing of like marriage fixes everything. So you're sort of like, well, if we do this will fix our relationship.
Exactly. Again, I think he's quite clueless and not paying attention.
Clueless. No, he does not pay attention to her. He only starts paying attention to her when she starts to,
like, yeah,
exactly. It's like, you deserve to lose her.
Yeah,
didn't treat her right.
No, it's not like the worst. Like, I mean, he's not the best.
He's not
the worst. It's just, I think it's just he's not after the same lifestyle than she's after. Like, it's not gonna work together.
Yeah, definitely not. I actually really liked Paulina's wedding dress, like that last scene.
Oh, really?
Where they're on the rooftop.
I mean, as far as wedding dresses go, it's definitely not the most offensive one. I'd agree with you.
But I just I was like,
I do like that she's put it on in the last scene. I like that. So how long do you think they're going to make us wait for Timmy, Natalia sex scene? And what do you expect from it? Like, what do you think it'll be like?
I think hopefully there'll be more than one, because the first one will be awkward as fuck. But I think there'll be like I worry that it will be like a dramatic like up and down of them like not really finding their groove and not communicating properly, and then it gets to the end where they then start to have good sex.
Oh, I hope not. Oh, that's gonna be very annoying if we have to wait until the last episode. I can't really be asked with their like back and forth. Will they one day? It's not. It was fine for one season, but they still dragged it out a little bit. But
they did, because it's like, guys, just communicate, just talk.
I mean, considering Natalia's personality, I kind of see why they don't communicate, because she's not really. It makes sense for her character, but I hope now that they've had this conversation on the phone while staring at each other, I hope they kind of sort their shit out, and whatever drama they encounter in season 2, I hope it's not going to be as like up and down. They're together, they're not together, they still not had sex. Like, just have sex and then have your downs. I don't care. What do you think Sexy Timmy? Oh, sexy Timmy, that's nice name.
Ooh, I mean, he is sexy, but
Polish Timmy is going to be like, because I feel like, again, he's very like comfortable with sex and stuff, so I would assume he's going to be good, but I don't think he'll be very, which doesn't mean that he's bad, I don't think he'll be very dominant. I think he'll be very quite cute. I'm worried about their sex scenes being really tame and boring, to be honest.
Being tender.
Don't! Why? Every single episode
I can't.
You can't resist it. It's like every episode you're gonna have to find a way to get it in.
I just can't help myself because of your reaction. If your reaction wasn't so great, maybe I wouldn't do it.
Oh, but yeah, I am a bit. I mean, I'll take it because Polish Timmy. But I don't think he'll be.
I imagine that he'd go down on her quite a bit.
Oh yeah, 100. Like, we don't even need to speculate on this. We know this.
Like, I think he'd be very affectionate and attentive, but I don't necessarily think it will be sexy to watch.
No, that's exactly what my fear is. Do you think that, the guy Monica has sex with, and she's like the last guy she has sex with from the app, do you think we'll see him again, or do you think that was genuinely, he was just a prop for the app to work, but it's not going to go any further?
I think he was just a prop for the app to work. But what do you think they'll do with Monica's character?
I think she'll definitely have less sex in season 2, which I'm a bit sad about. Because now it's like she's got a purpose, which is like she can have a purpose and still wants to get laid.
Yeah,
but
you can have both.
I feel like they're not going to let us have both. I think she's really going to focus on, the app. I think her relationship with her dad's going to be a little bit better if they carry on from the last episode. And I think she's finally gonna get over Polish Matt. So I feel like they're probably gonna give her a love interest, maybe. Like that comes a little bit later on. Like I feel like at the beginning she's gonna be very focused on the app and stuff, and then maybe through the app, I can see something where someone that she's working with that she shouldn't have sex with because they're working together through the app might become a love interest, which then count me in. I'm up for that. Actually, if this is not the storyline for Monica next season, I'm going to riot. So yeah, what do you think?
No. I'm not sure. I like your idea of it. Like, I think that because I worry that like because she's reached her purpose, that they won't really know what to do with her, and she might just cause unnecessary drama.
Oh yeah, that would suck.
Which would suck because she is the glue of the group. But I do hope that she still gets to have like a lot of amazing sex and experiences many orgasms that she could also very much give herself as well. She gets over the shame of touching herself.
I'd say whatever happens, I just really hope that the three girls stay like friends, because the way they end it in the last episode is very much like, okay, we're in this together now. And I really hope they don't go into like, oh no, they're arguing again, because that was what this entire season 1 was just to go in loops of like, they're friends, they're not friends, they're friends, they're not friends. So we've done this. It was a little bit boring. Like, now that we've gotten this out of the way, can we just stay into they are friends? Because I think the show is at its strongest when they're the three of them together, because their personalities are so different that they can get conflict from like other sources.
Definitely. But I do worry that they won't really know what to do with them, because it's such a like trope in TV shows where you're like, oh, we need something interesting to happen.
Yeah, I do worry that when my storyline with Monica obviously happens of her having sex with someone that she's working with, the other girls are going to create conflict between them, because they're going to be like, no, Monica, you're fucking us over, and the project
exactly.
But yeah, we'll see. But
we'll see.
I'm actually more excited about season 2, having rewatched season 1 than I was the first time I watched season 1. I was a bit like, oh, if there's a season 2, it'll be nice to see Polish Timmy again and Monica, and like Paulina was all right. Whereas this time I was like, oh yeah, I want to see what happens now.
Yeah, I know, I'm the same, because I think after I first watched it, I was like, meh, it was okay. But then the second time I was like, I really want to see what happens with Paulina.
Yeah, I got more invested.
Yeah, definitely.
So how sexy on a scale from 0 to 10 is this show, Jess?
I'd say like maybe like a 6 or a 7. I feel like 6 is more like,
are we counting like how much sex there is in it, or how sexy the show is?
I think how sexy, because when we did Sex Education, it was how sexy.
Yeah, that's true.
I think same with Entourage.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I don't know why I'm asking this. We'll just do the same thing that we always do then. Groundbreaking. Yeah, I think a 6, maybe a 7. Yeah, I'll give them a 7.
I think it goes to 7 in certain points in the show.
Exactly.
Sure.
I agree. What are we going to talk about next time?
Oh, we're going to talk about the Gossip Girl reboot, which actually was probably the inspiration for our whole podcast.
That is very true. Yay. All right.
Awesome.
So we'll speak to you next time.
Yeah, speak next time.